Alright, so in this video we're going to go over both the unit resources and the all-important assessments for this unit. And we'll start with the resources. As you can see here, the prescribed text that you need for this unit is by Hill and Holt, International Business Competing in the Global Marketplace. We do currently use the 12th edition. There are previous editions that we have in fact used for this unit in the past. People always ask, can they use the earlier editions? You are welcome to, but you also need to acknowledge that there will be differences in terms of things like page numbers and cases. So it becomes your responsibility, if you do purchase an earlier edition, to make sure that you are able to access those cases when required, as is often the case in the workshops. There is also a link on the Moodle site if you would like to buy an e-version of the text, which is much cheaper and obviously means you don't have to lug it around everywhere as well. We do provide a reading list for you. That there are multiple links to this. You can either look at the overall list at the top of your Moodle page, or within each corresponding week's tab, we have a link to the readings for that particular week. As you'll find with your assessments, these become super important in terms of that depth of research that we're looking for in both your presentation and your report to do really well there. In terms of setting the minimum expectation that we as teachers have of you as students, number one, we expect that you do view the online content, that is the videos and the associated slides and readings, as well as reading the relevant textbook chapter and readings for each week prior to the workshop. Every single semester we find students who fail the unit because they literally haven't done this very basic requirement, making sure that you just know the content each week. And as we'll outline on the following slide, this becomes especially important for the weekly quizzes. I can tell you that each and every reading that we have provided for you has been chosen because we have deemed it relevant and useful, hopefully, for you guys when it comes to understanding the key concepts, theories, frameworks, and so on that you need to apply to do well in your assessments. So obviously, the better you understand each of these concepts through the readings, the more you will then get out of your workshops, and hopefully the easier your assessments will be as well. Alright, as I said, let's move on to the assessments now. The first that we're going to look at are the in-class quizzes, and these in total are worth 30%. So every single workshop from weeks 2 all the way through to week 11, which is obviously 10 weeks in total, you will find that you have an in-class quiz that's held at the beginning of each week's class. It's fairly straightforward. We've got 10 multiple choice questions. You are given 10 minutes to complete them. The quiz is done on Moodle, so you obviously need to make sure that you have access to the Moodle each week during your workshop. We even actually make this quite easy for you by making it, in a sense, an open book assessment. And we say that because we do actually permit and encourage the use of notes during the quiz. But it's important to note, pardon the pun here, that other materials like the textbook or accessing the videos on the Moodle site are not permitted. So what you need to do in order to do really well and let's be honest, give yourself the best chance of doing well here, is prepare detailed notes each week. We encourage that. We want you to do that so that when you come to class to complete your quiz, you've actually hopefully got all the answers that you need to complete the quiz and do really well right there in front of you. I can also tell you that the content from those, or for the quizzes rather, will be drawn from both the online videos and content that we deliver, as well as the textbook itself, not the readings. So that's the quizzes. You do need to also, just as a final note here, make sure that you are actually in class to complete them. If you are not completing those quizzes in class, i.e. if you do it outside of class, you will receive 0 for that week. You need to make sure you're attending class on time to complete the quiz to get the marks for each week. The second assessment is a group video presentation, which is also worth 30%. Now, I understand that a lot of people freak out with presentations. They get really worried that they'll start end up looking like this, but it's actually a hugely valuable skill that will almost certainly be useful to you guys once you finish your time here at Monash and go out into the workforce. This particular presentation is actually in video form. We ask you in your groups to create a video which answers a series of questions which you'll find in your unit guides. It's due at the end of week 7, the Sunday of week 7, as you can see there on your screens. The groups are to be comprised of 4 to 5 students, which we will form in the first couple of weeks of class. You need to be making sure that you are attending your class, and certainly before week 3, you need to be getting yourself into a group. Otherwise, we'll do our best to get you into one, but we can't guarantee it after that point in time. Each group will create a country profile video presentation on a country of their choice, and then, as I say, answer a series of questions in relation to that country. The video presentation itself is to be no longer than 20 minutes long. The final piece of assessment we have for this unit is an individual report, and this is the big one, worth 40%. It's due on the Sunday of week 12, so at the very end of semester. It's a 2,500 word report, and you'll find that there are 3 questions that are outlined in your unit guide that we require you to address, and we ask that you do so in a report format. It's a little bit different to essays. If you're not familiar with the report format, the Q manual does a great job of outlining that. And we also provide a recommended structure document, so that it gives you a basic outline of how I would outline my report here if I were completing the assignment myself. So there are further details on that in the unit guide, as I say, but effectively you are asked to choose a case company and then required to address those 3 questions in relation to your chosen case.